On the last episode, we went down into the depths and took on some of these ferocious butchers, but we were able to pillage some important items from them, including the large ember. We also found an NPC named Laurentius of the Great Swamp, and back at Firelink Shrine, he gave us the all-important Pyromancy Flame item. We also found Rhea of Thorland and her interesting bodyguards who told us about their all-important mission to go down into the catacombs before we sunk deeper into the depths. What's up, everyone? My name's Joel. Welcome back. Today we're going to continue in the depths, and not too much of a change here in armor. I didn't really have any armor that had curse resist gear yet, so I'll just keep it with the same, but going back to that awesome Baldur's shield, and I figured I'd go with the Claymore just because it has this nice thrust attack, and that's going to be pretty good for taking out the rats and these little cursed lizard guys that we see going around, so this will be nice in this area. The halberd would work too, but the battle axe was just a little too close combat for my taste. I'd rather have a thrusting attack. So continue down here. See a lot of this weird goo oozing about everywhere. See a treasure over there we can get to eventually. That's actually a decent treasure. We might use that down here. So again, this is kind of a crazy labyrinth. It's easy to get lost in here. A lot of these areas with these little walkways and whatnot, they all kind of look the same. So when you're down here, just try to keep mindful where you are. Remember where the enemies are, and just try not to get lost. You'll kind of see once you go through here, it's not too bad. There's a lot of landmarks, but see these two lizards over here. You actually can't hit this guy through the wall, but if you do a jumping attack, as long as my aim is better, it'll actually damage him. So little neat trick there. You can actually still kill that guy. See that lizard skitter across there? Soul item. Can't get enough of those. So yeah, you see just the quick forward thrust of the Claymore. It's going to be helpful in here, and being a +5, it should one-shot most of the stuff. Okay, so we see a little drop down there. Looks to be maybe where that treasure was. That doorway down there maybe leads to it. Yeah, try not to stand in that stuff too long. If you need to, back away, roll through it, go to the other side, but it's not too bad as long as you're not taking on 2 or 3 of them at the same time. Oh, jeez. They can hit you with that cloud up here, so be careful. They'll get signaled once they're down there, and they will try to run around. There is a way around over here, so they can come down through over here, but for now we'll just go up these steps since it will end up connecting through. This is kind of a mean little trick. That'll drop you down where there's some lizards, and come around this corner and go, ooh, shiny, and you just walk into it, but you will fall down. So you can jump it, you just got to be careful. And we get a humanity. So if you fall down and you decide, oh, I'm going to come back and get that treasure after all that trouble, you just get a humanity. From Software's evil, man. We're going to drop down anyways, though, because it'll drop us off right in this treasure room we saw. Ring of the Evil Eye. We might replace Tiny Being's ring with that. I think that might be better for us down here. I want to keep the wolf ring on, though, because of the rats. Absorbs HP from fallen enemies. According to legend, this ring contains the spirit of the Evil Eye, a dark beast which assaulted Astora. The strength of the Evil Eye does not waver, and HP is absorbed from fallen enemies. So each time we kill a guy, we will get a little bit of hit points, and this will be good for 2 reasons. First of all, there may be poison for us in the future, as we've been hinted at. So if we're constantly losing a little bit of life, but we're gaining it from downed foes, that will help. And also, there's just a lot of little enemies here. Any kind of area where there's going to be a lot of little guys, those are the kind of areas that are going to be good for Ring of the Evil Eye, because you're constantly going to be killing guys, so you'll constantly be gaining hit points. There is a cooldown on it, so you can't just kill 3 guys in a row and get a little bit of health from each of them. Kill a guy, wait a few seconds, kill a guy, then you'll get more health. Let's check out that evil eye item we just got and see what that's all about. If I can find it. Eye of Death, I mean. Lure phantoms from other worlds. Online play item. The dreadful eyes of death spread disaster across neighboring worlds. Phantoms lured to the host world may end up as victims, allowing the eyes of death to multiply and leading to further proliferation of bane. So again, online play item. Lure phantoms from other worlds. So you can basically lure people into your world and ambush them if you were playing online. So evil, as the name implies. Normally, these guys would attack you if you came from the stairs, but when you come from behind, they don't really seem to see you, even though you're splashing around. So if you came down this way, come up here to give you an idea. So this is where we were before we dropped down. If you just came down here, all of these 3 lizards would attack you. But if you come from the back way like we did, they're much easier to handle, and that's why I went that way. Another soul item. You can see the souls of other cursed people here. These are actually other players online who have been cursed. So that's kind of a neat little detail. Alright, so now that we've got that out of the way, we can go back. Basically, this little lizard area is done, dead-ended, so we can kind of go back from whence we came, which is over here. So here is where I started this video, stopped the last one. We slid down up there, that's where we killed the giant rat. So now we're going to take this path. And you always want to be careful when you're going by these boxes, because there are a few of them that actually have rats jump out of them. Dark Spirit Knight Kirk. So this is not an online player, this is an NPC. And you can see he's got that badass thorn armor. We can actually purchase that in the future. Oh. Watch out, he can be pretty devastating with his little sword. We'll see Kirk a couple times actually. He shows up in a few areas, as long as you're human. So not too difficult, but he's got that armor of thorns. 5,900 souls, not bad, not bad. The armor of thorns, when he rolls by you, it damages you. And, you know, in these PvP sort of encounters, there's a lot of rolling going on. So he can deal a little bit of damage to you here and there and kind of wear you down. And then a couple hits from that sword will take you down. So be careful, you know, shield up and come back and heal when necessary like I did. So get some humanity from him. Alright. So once again, watch out for these boxes. Just in case. Always want to inch around. You never know when these rats are going to ambush you with their friends. Little bastards. So, you know, you can kind of see these hallways sort of look the same. You know, the staircase looked similar to the ones where, you know, when we were over by the lizards. So it can be easy to get lost in here. So here, you enter a room. Looks like there's a little slime right there. These guys with melee attacks, they take a long time to kill. But really they're not that hard once they're on the ground. Just be careful. They can do like a little stinger attack. Mostly where they get you is if they're on the ceiling and they fall down on you. Like you can see there's one up there. So if I was to walk right under that, he'd fall on me. So just watch for that. So here we see a couple rats, a couple more slimes in the distance, and we see some sort of door and wagon wheels and stuff down there. We'll head there soon. You can see this little vista right here shows that ramp up to the rat room that we slid down. To kind of get an idea of where we are. So we go up this little side stair, we know that it's going to connect up, and if you remember, we saw a room with a door, so we know that this is going to connect over there. See if we can open this bad boy. Sure enough. And there you can see the connection. So there's the rat room, the giant rat room, we'll call it. Take this ladder up. I sense a shortcut. Roll through these boxes. Go over there in a moment, but first, come up these steps. Watch out for that hollow. It's a mean spot for a hollow right there, tell you what. Just come right up with a torch in the face. Alright, so we see this hallway with a bunch of slimes. More on that in a moment. This door normally doesn't open, but since we got the sewer chamber key down on the corpse that was in the rat room, we can now access a bonfire. Oh yeah. Much needed, much needed. If you were to die any time in there, you would have had to gone all the way back to Firelink Shrine. So screw all that nonsense. Alright. So, before heading on, I want to show you a little something something. Before, I forgot to read the description on the pyromancy flame, so I'll do that real fast. Flame medium used by great swamp pyromancers. Pyromancers arouse this flame to produce various fire arts. Equip pyromancer flame to produce pyromancy. Attune pyromancies from a scroll at bonfire. Most pyromancies have a limited number of uses. Okay, so just basically telling you the basics of pyromancy. So we're going to equip that. One thing I like about these is they don't have any weight, so things like the Sorcerer Catalyst or the Talismans for miracles, they have minor amounts of weight, which can be annoying sometimes, but these are weightless. Like the item description said, we need to make sure we attune, so we're going to go ahead and ditch heal for the meantime and use combustion. So I'm not going to be spending these souls. There's a vendor in here that requires a lot of souls for his items, so I'm going to be doing some farming here off camera too. So we can just run through here. None of the slimes will drop on your head or anything. Watch out for that hollow. Okay, so you see that all the slimes drop. So with combustion, you can basically just come up to these guys and just one-shot them with the combustion. Much easier than trying to kill them with melee, as you saw earlier. Two-handing a +5 claymore took like 8 hits or something. Boom, one combustion shot. You can even kill 2 at once sometimes like that. Easy money. So, the reason why this hall is nice is because you can go right back to the bonfire, reload them, run out here, kill the hollows again. You know, run down, kill both of the hollows. All the slimes drop, you go back and kill them. I believe there's 8 of them. They're easy to kill with combustion, and they have a chance to drop either large titanite shards or green titanite shards. And now that we have both the divine ember as well as the heavy ember, which we found near the butcher, the first butcher, the next upgrade materials we're using are going to be both green titanite shards and large titanite shards. So convenient that we have this little farming hallway here to be able to kill those guys. So they don't give you very many souls, unfortunately, but probably before the next video, like I said, I'll do some off-screen farming and get a bunch of those shards and a bunch of souls before we move on. Okay, so moving back through this hallway, just want to be careful. Here, there's a treasure, but watch out for that little guy up there. It's hard to kind of predict when you need to jump back. It's real easy for that slime to get you. See, just like that, I accidentally rolled forward. I don't think he'll kill me, but that's... oh, geez, that did a lot of damage. But you can kind of see how that's where the slimes can get you. When they're on the ground, not much of a threat. You can just one-shot them with the combustion, but if they fall on your head, they can actually do some mean damage. There we see one of the green titanite shards I was talking about. Finally. Oops. Titanite shard for weapon reinforcement. Reinforces magic, divine, and fire weapons. So that's going to be nice for us. We see another soul item. Green titanite shards can be used, as you can see, for other things besides divine weapons, but that'll be our first thing that we're upgrading is divine weapons. So this hallway might look familiar to you also. As we come through here, this is where we fought the second butcher, and down there is where we rescued Laurentius. So this is how it connects. This is that quote-unquote, like I mentioned before, the standard route through the game would come down here, and it would lead to the bonfire door, but unless you had the master key, you wouldn't be able to access it without the sewer chamber key. So that's why if I don't have the master key, I like to take that other route first, because it circles back around, kill the rat, circle around, and then by the time we come back to the bonfire, I've got the key. I can unlock it and then move on from there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and rest again. Move along. So yeah, this will be, you know, you don't really come back down here. Once you've killed the boss at the end of the area, you move along, you go to Blighttown. There's not really a reason to come back. So considering that there's not as good of areas until a little bit later, maybe like some areas in Blighttown later on, there's not going to be another really good chance for you to get these shards, so this can be an important spot. Alright, so now we'll head this way, continue exploring the depths. Over here we see a large group of rats. Go ahead and Leroy Jenkins them like that. That was, man, I think I got them all in that one hit. Nice. These can also be a very good source of humanity. If you have a higher item find, like right now I've got 192. They have a really good chance of dropping humanity. So farming this area before you fight the boss will slowly but steadily give you humanity naturally, and then they can also drop it. So this is one of the better areas to farm humanity earlier in the game. Great Axe. I have to say that this is one of my favorite weapons in the game, and it's not because of the moveset. Okay, everyone talks about the horrible moveset. It does. It has a horrible moveset. But point for point, pound for pound, it's one of the highest damage weapons in the game, and it can be buffed. So we'll see more of this later. It does require a hefty 32 strength requirement. It's going to be a while before we get there, but you will see this thing can take down bosses like butter. This Great Axe is a veritable mass of iron. Its weight sends foes flying, but makes it difficult to handle without inhuman strength. Any miss makes one very vulnerable, as each swing requires the full force of the body. So again, 14 weight, requires 32 strength. It's going to be a while before we use that, but very few items will come close to matching the damage of the Great Axe. Shield up, watch out for the rats. There's one. So yeah, +5 Claymore, even the sweeping R1 is killing them in one shot, so this or the Halberd are both going to be really good weapons here. At this point in the game, both of those weapons are just kind of good anywhere, so it's one of those humanities I was talking about. Yeah, and then even the, you know, the running R1 while you're two-handing it to the Claymore, that can really take out these groups of enemies. Another humanity. So you can see also too, talking about Ring of the Evil Eye, all these little creatures everywhere. Just really easy, really good item down here to constantly make sure you're gaining life. Okay, so going through this hallway, it might be easy to miss this staircase downwards. We'll go there in a moment, but for now we'll just continue straight. I'll show you why in a moment. Get the soul item. We see this fog here. Don't worry, not a boss. But technically it does lead us to the boss room. So now there's a few rats, but there's also this wandering sorcerer. He will dance and buff the guys, kind of like he did. Oh, there he goes. Kind of like he did in the Undead Church. So you don't want that to happen. Unfortunately, it did just right there. But if you can, you want to try to either lure him up here or lure the rats up before he walks over, because he patrols. So remember, these guys have a lot of poise, so just want to kind of attack through as fast as you can, get him down. Oh, no channel or trident, unfortunately, and you can see that aura around the rats, so we'll just kind of let that fade for a second. If they didn't poise break, I wouldn't worry about that too much, but because they can poise break you, that little damage buff makes these guys super deadly, especially if you accidentally pull them all at once. It's not a good scene. See if we can't just pull one. Oh, wow, look at that damage. Whew, that was close. Try to isolate him right here. Oh, you guys can't come through the doorway? Oh, that's weird. Anyhow, don't do what I did. Throw a knife at him, shoot an arrow, one at a time. That's the way to do it. But got through it, luckily. There's another one over here. Be careful. He likes to just turn around in the corner for some reason, but if you were to come from this way, that guy would be more scary because he'd just jump out at you and start attacking you. You definitely don't want to come at this area through this door, because not only are these all these rats going to signal, they're going to see you, they're going to come up on you, but now the channeler can just sit over here and shoot those soul arrows at you, so it's much easier to come from up there. Now, see this large room down here? Kind of water kind of going over the bottom floor. See some treasure and stuff, so this will be the boss area we'll come to later. It's got these broken pillars. If you don't kill that channeler, he will actually stand up here and fire arrows at you, fire magic at you while you're fighting the boss, and I believe he can even buff the boss, so it's almost a necessity to kill him first. It is possible to kill the boss without killing the channeler, but I don't recommend it. And you saw it wasn't too bad coming from that angle, as long as you're careful with the rats. So yeah, watch out for those boxes. There's 2 rats in those. Come around here, large titanite shard. Once again, those are going to be a little more abundant now. We're going to start seeing those now that we've got that large ember. We will need to bring that back to our boy Andre at some point. Alright, continuing on. So we can go straight. We can also go this way. This comes back to that same hallway that led us over to the channeler room. What the hell, dude? Alright, so watch out for that. You don't want to fall down there. This is kind of where the labyrinth description comes from. It's very tight hallways down here, very narrow corridors, so just be careful, try to remember where you've been. More of those slimes getting wrecked by combustion. This is the pitfall and the treasure that we got just coming out of the rat room, so we don't need to worry about that. We don't need to be worried about being tempted by it into the pitfall. And then over here, same thing. This room just connects with that treasure and then connects up to the rat room. So I'm not going to go that way just because the only way out besides this way is to slide down that little waterfall. And I don't want to do that. I just want to go back to the bonfire for now. We're almost ready to go down and take on the boss. Just a couple more steps. I'm not going to cut out this run back to the bonfire just so you can see how to get back there. Because it's not easy if you don't remember exactly how you can get turned around in here. I'm already getting turned around. Oh yeah, this is where the great axe was. Okay. So once you've cleared out that little area below, that kind of sewer area with the channeler and all the rats and stuff, now we can go back to that area where we saw the door and the wagon wheels, those types of things. And there will be an NPC over there. I don't want to fight the boss quite yet in this episode, so I think I'll just end it here on second thought. So what I'll do is end it here. I'm gonna do some farming here, like I said, those slimes, try to get as much shards as I can. And then on the next episode, we'll go ahead and check out the NPC and fight the boss down here and call it good in the depths. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.